Hey everyone, I'm Mind, and I just got the latest copy of the LEGO Ninjago Magazine. This month's issue is pretty exciting. It comes with a Storm Suit Zane minifigure, which personally I'm really looking forward to getting opened up. Even though he doesn't actually appear in Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3 Part 1, it's still a very cool minifigure. Zane is personally my favorite ninja, and this is the least common Storm Suit in the sets. And I was a little bit disappointed by that. I was hoping there was going to be other ways to get this guy. So now at the very least he's in the magazine, so I have a second of this minifigure. But of course we'll take a look at the minifigure at the end of this video. For now, let me remove him so we can take a full look at the magazine itself. Here's a look at the full cover of the magazine. It says, LEGO Toys, Ice Ninja Zane plus cool crossbow. LEGO Toys, Zane, ice cold, super cool. Forbidden Evil, all about the 5 new villains. I'm actually curious to see what they have to say about the Forbidden 5, because, at least me personally, I was a little bit underwhelmed by them in Season 3 Part 1. I really liked the Forbidden 5 conceptually, and when they were on screen, I thought they were pretty cool, aside from Zarked. I think Zarked was very lame. But I definitely wanted to see more from them, so if we're not going to get it in the show, maybe we can get it in some auxiliary media like this. We also have an exclusive 12-page comic, some dazzling door hangers, and Kai's epic ninja mission. I guess something to mention right off the bat, I probably will be talking Season 3 spoilers in here if I need to. Season 3 Part 1, that is. A good chunk of Season 3 Part 2 has leaked at this point, and I have watched it, but because it's not officially released, I'm going to avoid talking about that until it's officially out, which unfortunately will not be till like September, I think? September or October, we don't have an official release date yet. But yeah, Part 1 spoilers are fair game at this point. I'll still warn you I'm going to talk about anything Part 1, but Part 2 I will avoid touching on unless I feel like I really need to. But I think probably not. The 2 seasons are fairly separate as of right now. Also, if you're curious about my take on Season 3 Part 2, I'm going to wait to do that until we have the entire season. Luckily, there's still 2 episodes that aren't out there yet, so there's still a little bit to look forward to. But yeah, just because it's not an official release, I don't want to talk about it yet. Or it was officially released, just accidentally officially released. Anyway, they've gotten rid of the Climber Mech advertisement on the first page. Now we have an advertisement for the LEGO Batman magazine. And then right here we have our villain of the month, which is Jordana. Jordana is as hard-nosed as they come. Despite the downfall of her homeland, she steals dragon energy from Imperium. This serum makes the Wolfmask Shadow Dojo the new villain stronghold. Jordana is also really determined. She teaches herself dark magic to carry out the ritual of the Blood Moon. In doing so, she is possessed by rocks, who makes her do evil deeds as if by remote control. Since the return of the Forbidden 5, Jordana has been missing without a trace. I am curious if we're going to get more Jordana stuff, because I think she's a really cool character. I really like her dynamic with Sora. But yeah, so far she's just been MIA from Season 3. I hope she comes back at some point, though. I would like to see, like, a proper redemption for her. Because she does sort of turn when she's, like, possessed by rocks and helps out the ninja for a moment, but we haven't seen her really, like, unpossessed at all, really. Anyway, of course, there's the table of contents right here, and now let's turn to the next page, and this is the bio page of the minifigure. Zane. He is a ninjoid, his element is ice, and he always keeps us cool in stressful situations. Since the merge, however, he has been missing someone very important at his side, Pixel. The female ninjoid is still missing. A reunion of the two would make any tech heart beat faster. Okay, so it seems like the magazine is not ready to talk Season 3 Part 1 spoilers yet, so probably not a ton of new info in this magazine, that means, but hopefully we'll get there fairly soon. At least they're tying into Season 3 Part 1 a little bit, even if it's teasing the season, right? Also, this is formatted a little bit differently than the last few. I think it's cool they're playing with that a bit. Then talking you through the brick built weapon, I'm actually quite excited for this one. It looks very unique. And there's a little coloring thing right here where you can color in his torso. Then we have some games on this page, Sharp Arrows. This is a math riddle, that's kind of funny. It's one of those games where you have to move one part to make the equation true. And then we have Zane's Bow Sudoku. And of course the instructions to build a minifigure. Turning to the next page, we have Fit for Villains. There's actually quite the series of games here. This is a little maze, you have to go from start to finish. This one you have to identify each of the villains. That's a very difficult game right there. We have Creature Game, which is one of those like Facebook style math puzzles. And I've got a couple other things here. Honestly, it's pretty jam-packed so far, this magazine. A bit more to do than there usually is, and we're only on like the second activity page. Anyway, let's turn the page again, and we have Chaos Creatures. This is a Spot the Differences game for the Dragonian Storm Village. I like this one with the hair, that's funny. And this is the Forbidden Speedster. They want you to draw a vehicle for the Forbidden 5, that's very funny. That would have been cool if we had vehicles for the Forbidden 5. And they're all saying their iconic lines. It needs to be loud and fast. I'll drive. Brake and you lose. I'm on the shooter. Hurry up, I've got somewhere to be. And then now we are at the comics. So as always, the comics, I'm not going to read the entire thing to you guys, but feel free to pause the video and read it for yourself. And if I notice anything especially funny or interesting, I will stop and point it out. This one is titled The Search Goes On. Oh, okay, this is cool. So they're going back to Dr. Julien's Lighthouse in hopes that Jay might be here to try to find him. I wonder if we're going to see Echo Zane in this comic. I've been very curious if they're going to touch on that. Because it's my understanding that Blue Ocean does actually have the permissions to tell the Echo Zane story. Tommy Andreasen, before he left Ninjago with Crystallize, came up with the story for Echo Zane, and they touched on it a little bit in a previous Blue Ocean comic, but then it was never finished. But it was the idea that, like, Echo Zane was going to go on this adventure elsewhere. Because in that comic, it shows Jay ending up in the Lighthouse before Crystallize, and he meets Echo Zane, and he's like, oh, Echo Zane, you should go on adventures, and Echo Zane leaves. But then we just haven't seen him since. Normally, these comics are not canon, but if this does actually touch on the Echo Zane story, it may be Tommy Andreasen's old Echo Zane story, like, retold to fit into Dragon's Rising. So that would be really awesome. Echo Zane is one of those characters that I would love to see touched on again, but I don't know if and when that's ever going to happen. Anyway, there's a bunch of, like, evil Ty-D robots, which is kind of funny. It makes me kind of sad to see Wildfire blow one of them up, but there's a bunch of them, and they are, like, trying to stop the ninja. Very interesting, actually. I wonder what's going on with the Lighthouse. This is one of the more compelling stories I've had here recently. I also think it's funny what they've been doing with Kai's suit in these magazines, because you can see he's back to his climber outfit here. Now, technically that is canon, right? Kai never had a tournament suit. But they've sort of been jumping back and forth between tournament suit and climber suit for Kai in the last few magazines. Like, some magazines he has the tournament outfit, some magazines he has this, and then sometimes it's a weird amalgamation. But this is the most accurate, I guess, even if the rest of the ninja are still in their tournament outfits. Also, I wonder where Sora is, right? Because it's kind of just the entire new crew without Sora. Aaron is obviously off with Roz right now, and Cole's probably in the Land of Lost Things. But yeah, no Sora. I wonder if she's going to come into play at all. Anyway, let's turn to the next page, because I'm curious to see what's about to happen. Okay, so it seems like Jay actually might have been here. That's interesting. I kind of like that idea that Jay visited here after losing his memories at some point. Don't know when that would have happened. Unless this is his base as Rogue. That would actually be really cool, because we never saw that in the show. Oh, I kind of hope that's what they establish. It is very sad to see them just exploding the Tides, though, even if they are evil. Let's see what happens next. Okay, they fall into this dungeon, and the floor falls out from underneath them, and it's all like this water, so Zane's trying to freeze it to create a platform, and then we were at the break in the comic. Here we have a game where Roz and Aaron have to try to catch as many dragons as possible. It shows you different paths they can take. Interesting to refer to the little red dragons as red ghost dragons. I assume that's just a weird translation thing, though maybe not. If you've seen the show, you either know or you don't. Very strange, though. And then we have the posters in the center of the comic. Ooh, this first one right here I actually kind of love. This is so different from anything else they've done before, but it looks great. It's got the current ninja team, unfortunately missing Aaron and missing Jay because they're not currently on the ninja team, at least as of Season 3 Part 1. Or before Season 3 Part 1, because Sora's still here. But yeah, it just shows each of their eyes. Lloyd, Kai, Zane, Neo, Wildfire, and Sora. And that actually looks awesome. I love the sort of cartoon stylization, how flat everybody looks, and the very, like, bright colors behind each of them, too, and it's colors that were chosen to, like, really make their design stand out, not necessarily colors that fit them, because, like, Kai's got this green. Kai's not green at all, Zane's not purple at all, but because those colors are so different, you can actually see their designs. This might be one of the coolest posters they've ever done. If this was released, like, bigger and without, like, obviously the staple marks in the middle, this is something I'd consider hanging up. Like, this looks amazing. And then here on the other side, we have Rocks, and it says Rocks Rules. This is a far more traditional magazine poster, but I also think it's pretty good. You've got her mask at the bottom, her eyes at the top. This is like the preliminary / TV show design of this character, because she has the white instead of the dark brown on her torso. The caption Rocks Rules is a little bit silly, but I kind of mess with it. I like this. This one's phenomenal, though. I'm actually super impressed. Anyway, now back to the magazine. We have the Spinner Winner Dinner. You have to figure out between Roz and Aaron which one hits the other 3 times, and the winner gets a cookie. Wow. And then we have Hotter Than Heat. You have to follow this sequence, and it spells out a secret code that Wildfire has written in her journal. It spells out Heatwave, which is, of course, the name of the dragon that raised her. But now we are back to the comic. Very excited to see where this goes. Okay, so water, like, fills up the dungeon, but Nia creates, like, a bubble around them, it looks like. That's kind of cool. I don't think we've ever seen her do that in the show. And they're all able to jump out of the top. Turning the page again. Okay, they get to the top, everything looks normal, but then these bars close in and now they're trapped inside. Okay, Kai creates a signal, this dragon in the air sees it, the dragon helps free them, and they're like, okay, well, Jay wasn't here, so now we gotta look somewhere else, and it sets up for Season 3, Episode 1, where Neo, Wildfire, and Kai go out searching. They never really explain what happened to the lighthouse. I guess it does imply Jay was here, which that is kind of cool, the idea that Jay's base was the lighthouse. But yeah, I hope they pick up on this in another magazine, because I feel like there is more story to tell here. Also, no explanation as to where Sora was. That could also be a future magazine, though. This dragon's also quite funny looking, because he does not look like any Ninjago dragon that we know. It just looks like a completely original design for this comic specifically. But yeah, that is the end of the comic, not the end of the magazine. Honestly, I really like that one. Super cool idea to give us a little bit more of the search for Jay, and returning to the Lighthouse too. Like, that's really neat to visit an older location like that. But now, here's the info page of the Forbidden Five. I'm gonna read through the entire thing, see if I notice anything interesting. It does actually mention all their elemental powers here, which is cool to see in official media, because it wasn't actually mentioned in the show aside from Kerr. And you do get to see Drix use his powers too, but the rest of them kinda just doesn't happen. We see Misfortune used once, and it's kinda just implied. Fear, I don't think is ever used, and then Brute Force is just punching hard, which is something that Noct did anyway. But yeah, in case you didn't know, Noct Master of Brute Force, Rock's Master of Fear, Kerr Master of Decay, Drix Master of the Swarm, and Zarkt Master of Misfortune. Okay, and they are actually touching on Season 3 a little bit, because it mentions his attempt to steal one of the ninja's prison blades fails for now. Unfortunately, yeah, not much new info here, but it's cool to see the Forbidden Five touched on. Honestly, that's one thing I'm looking forward to with future magazines, is hopefully more Forbidden Five stuff, specifically in the comics, because as I said, I wanted to see more from them in the show, but if it's not going to happen in the show, maybe we can get more in auxiliary media like this. Because they are a really cool group of characters, I just wanted to see more from them. Drix is awesome though, Drix was the GOAT. Turning the page, we have Thunder Fangake. Oh, this is cute. It's a little comic that's also an advertisement for the set, it looks like. And it's also little activities too. This is neat. This is a lot better than how they used to do the set advertisements. This is a very silly comic. Thunderfang has a toothache and everybody's trying to help cure it, including the ninja. That's very, very silly. Anyway, let's turn the page again, and here we have To Victory. Oh, is this Battleship? Oh, that's awesome! Ninjago Battleship, I would have gone crazy for this as a kid. Battleship was like one of my favorite games to play, so Ninjago Battleship would have been awesome. That's really, really cool. It's such a simple thing. I'm surprised I haven't seen it in one of these magazines before. That is so cool. And then at the very end here, we have an advertisement for next month's magazine, and this is going to come with a Dark Aaron minifigure, though, specifically the Dark Aaron minifigure with the Storm Suit mask. I will say this feels like one of the weaker ones of the recent magazines, just because this minifigure is not too difficult to get. He comes in a $20 set, he comes in a $50 set, and he's not even canon to the show. The, better version of Aaron comes in other sets. So I can't say I'm super excited for this one. However, it does look like it is going to come with a bonus minifigure, because it says LEGO Toys Aaron and Iconic Grappling Hook plus extra set. So there is going to be something else with it, which is always something to look forward to. No clue what that will be, but we will see next month. And then here we have some cool door hangers. We have Enter and Rise Together. Stay out, Villain Alert. You are not forbidden to enter, come in. Unless you're the Sweet Thief, Homework Inspector, Tax Investigator, Tooth Fairy, or the Screen Time Controller. True. Stay out, Elemental Master Training in Progress. These are so silly. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for the actual magazine. Honestly loved this one. The posters were great, the comic was great, and the activities seem very full if you're interested in that kind of stuff. Might be one of my favorite magazines ever, genuinely. And then I like the promo a lot too, so let's get this opened up and take a closer look at the minifigure. Alright, and here is the Storm Suit Zane minifigure fully put together. Let's start off by talking about his accessory, which is this brick-built crossbow. This I think is super cool. I love the way it's done. It uses the modern ray gun piece with this sort of diamond-shaped piece coming out the front. I think that piece originated from LEGO Nexo Knights. I know Monkey Kid also used it. It's a very strange part, but having it in trans blue here does a good job to represent an elemental ice arrow, so I think it works perfectly for a Zane accessory. The mech finger pieces here also add some really nice shape to the bow. I think this is a genuinely fantastic little build. I always love the super creative builds in these magazines, and yeah, this one is no exception at all. Always fun to have new different builds for our characters. And then the Storm Suit Zane minifigure himself is also awesome. As I mentioned, he only comes in one set, so it's great to have another way to get him. Unfortunately, he does not come with his armor piece here, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice to see. However, luckily now with the March sets, those armor pieces are not nearly as uncommon as they were. So if you have all the sets, you might have a few extras that you can give Zane one. The actual torso design, though, I think is fantastic. I love whenever Zane uses this bright blue. I think it's just so perfect. And the gold plating on the chest plate fits in so nicely with everything else. The hood, I would say, is the only part of this figure I'm not in love with, and that's just because of the choice of light bluish gray. I've never been a huge fan of that color on Zane. It just feels like it's trying too hard to be off-white. The blue feels a lot more fun to me, so I kind of wish that was blue up there, or metallic silver, that would be interesting. The regular gray is just whatever. Feels a little out of place with everything else, because yes, there is gray down here, but I think it would have been better to match the hands. That's just a personal thing, though. It still looks fine. And then, of course, with the hood piece off, he's got a standard Dragon's Rising face print, so the very neutral face on one side, and then the angry, Dragon Power face on the other side. There's, the back of the torso, too, where he's got the Source Dragon logo. He's a very cool minifigure all around. I'm very excited to have another way to get him. And so, what are my overall thoughts on this magazine? As I said, I think this was fantastic. All in all, great minifigure, great comics, great posters. And the activities were really good too. I love Ninjago Battleship. That's like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, this one's basically like a 100% recommend on my end. I guess theoretically the minifigure could be better, right? Because Zane does come in a $40 set, so he's not like the rarest in the world, and that is a pretty good set. So if you already have that one, of course, you don't need to get this one. But if you like getting duplicate minifigures, or you don't have that set yet, or if you have any interest in the posters, in the games, in the comics, this is definitely one of the best magazines ever in terms of the complete package. But of course, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments below. Stay tuned, because I'll be posting early Ninjago set reviews starting next week. I believe it should be on the 17th. And I should also have a new building challenge video coming out this weekend, so you can look forward to that as well. But as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!